On this episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to show you the free resources and some cheap resources on what you need for your video marketing business. And today's episode is made possible by freevideoeditor.co. Are you looking to start doing some video editing, but you don't want to spend those high-end prices? Well, fortunately, we have a high-end video editor that comes at a great price, free. Check it out right now at freevideoeditor.co. And with that, let's hit the music.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
One.
It's a radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Aaron Show podcast network. And Ray's here too, and you can find us. He is. There he is. And you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. We're all out there. Lots of great info.
Yes, there is. So, Steve, what's up in your world these days?
Well, it's 20 degrees in Omaha and 85 in Lake Elsinore, huh?
Is it 85? Well, I think it's probably more like 80 or 75.
80, 75, right?
It's nice.
Yeah. We got the first cold snap of the season yesterday, and I was just really tired, and I couldn't figure out why. Then I remembered whenever we get that first cold snap, I'm tired. And
it'll kill you. Well, fortunately, now if you're like me, you would have been shot up with steroids today. So
that's right. You got shot up with steroids.
But I am shot up and filled with steroids at this point in time, so I'm ready to go. People listening to this later are going to be like, "What is he talking about? Steroids?" But
you were diagnosed with bronchitis.
Yes. So it's allergy and sinus related steroids, not the kind that's going to turn me into Hulk Hogan. So.
Or Hans and Franz.
Hans and Franz. I am here to pump your brain, however.
Pump your brain
with free info. But first, I want to tell a nice, fun story here for those of you that are listening. This podcast is happening, as you can see on the date. If you're watching this, a date over there. There we go. It's the beginning of December, and yesterday was the final date for submitting our Toys for Tots toys. And so I got to go to Toys R Us yesterday and purchase over $3,000 worth of toys for Toys for Tots. And that was a lot of fun. And of course, it's listeners like you guys who contributed to that by buying products. And that's how we built up all that cachet of cash so that we could do that. But here's the fun part of the story. So I get to Toys R Us. And I tell them, oh, yeah, I'm here to do the Toys for Tots and blah, blah, blah. And I do a little Facebook Live of me in the store shopping and whatnot. And I fill up the first cart and I bring it up and it's like overflowing with toys. And people are looking at me like I'm this crazy person because I have like 10 of everything, I bring it up, I park it in the front and they say, oh, yeah, just put it right here. And we do. I go get another cart. I fill that one up. Same thing. I bring it up to the front. I put it next to the first one. They've got it marked. It says Toys for Tots on them. I go get a third one. I spend all this time getting all these toys. I get up to the front and I decide, you know what? I better check out and see where I'm at this point. I don't think I'm anywhere close to $3,000 yet, but I better check out and see. So I go to check out and guess what? The first two carts are gone. So all that shopping, now I'm going through my mind. I'm like, I just spent an hour and a half or whatever it's been shopping for all these toys and they're gone. Well, I talked to them and what happened was somebody came out, saw Toys for Tots on them and took all the toys already before they were paid for.
Oh,
and
man.
so fortunately, they still had them in the back. And so about 15 minutes later, they come out with these 3 gigantic boxes with all these toys. And we checked out the 3 boxes and we checked out the cart that I had. And it came out to about $2,200 or so. And I said, okay, so we still got, $800 plus to go here with taxes and all that kind of fun stuff. And I run the PayPal card through. Now, mind you, before I left, I called PayPal and I said, hey, I'm going to be going. I'm going to be buying all these toys for Toys for Tots. It's probably going to be, over $3,000. Is that going to be okay? Is it going to cause a problem trying to use the PayPal card there, for that kind of a price range or anything? And they're like, oh, no, it should be fine. And they said, you've got up to $6,000. I said, okay, great. So we do all this, and it takes forever to scan all these toys. I mean, we're talking hundreds of toys here, and the card says declined. And so now I'm like, okay, great. So now what am I going to do? So, well, fortunately, PayPal, Toys R Us has a Pay with PayPal button on there. You can actually pay directly with your PayPal account in the store. Right. Home Depot has this as well. So I click on that button that says Pay with PayPal, and I put in my phone number, and I put in my PIN number, and I get back, sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Try later. So now I've got all these toys, and we can't pay for them with the card, and it's the only card I have. I don't carry any of the cards really. So I'm like, okay. I said, well, I'm going to have to call them. So they put a suspend on the order, which prints out a little receipt, and that way when you come back, they scan the receipt, and it brings all your stuff back, and you pay for it. So I call PayPal. I talk to the girl, and she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. No, it's okay. If you do it now, you'll be fine. And you can, we know that you're doing it." And I'm like, yeah, I know you do because I called this morning. So anyway, I go back up. I bring the little receipt thing, and she's like, "Okay, we ready?" I said, "Yeah." They said it's okay. So she scans it. Well, now the register has to go through every single item and put it back in one at a time. Do for hundreds of these toys. Now this takes about 10 minutes. And about 10 minutes is going by, and it's still going. And I can see on the little pin pad thing that it's, it's like flashing and stuff. So it's still going. And while I'm there, because I'm doing this through customer service, I didn't go to one of the regular lines. Well, as I'm doing this, one of the other customer service girls comes in, and she's messing around with some things. She comes over to that register, and she's looking at it, and she presses a button. And the other girl almost stabs her in the throat. She goes, "No, what did you do? You just pressed that button." So what she ended up doing was putting a suspend on it again. But here's the bad part about it is, in order to reach that suspend, in order for that button press of suspend to work, it has to finish going through all the items first. So it's still going through all the items. It reaches the end of the items, suspends it again, but because this is the second suspend on that, it just cancels it all out. Now we have to call to the back again and go, "Hey guys, all those toys you just brought back there a little while ago? Yeah, we need to bring them back and scan every single one of them again." So they had to bring back all this. So again, it takes 10, 15 minutes for them to bring it back. Now there's 4 gigantic boxes, and we had to go through and scan every single toy again, just like we did the first time. And then it finally went through. Everything went fine. And then I purchased the rest of my toys and checked out with those. But literally, it took me over 4 hours in the store to do this. And most of it was hanging around. And it was kind of interesting. I felt bad for the poor cashier who had to ring everything twice and everything. She wanted to kill that other girl. But, it was fun. And it certainly was interesting. So there we go. So I just wanted to tell that story because that's fun. And for the cashier at Toys R Us, if you're watching or listening, thank you for your hard work, and we'll give you a swig of Virgil's root beer for your troubles here. So
there you go. And remind me again with the Toys for Tots, it's a percentage of your affiliate sales for what, the last month, or because you did it last year?
We did it last year. We did it last year in December, and we did it for 3 or 4. Up until almost Christmas. I think we stopped on like the 20th, and then we found out that you were supposed to drop the toys off on like the 8th. So I had to go to Toys R Us, buy all this stuff, and then I had to pack it around and bring it to a warehouse. And it was like 8 o'clock at night in this shady-looking warehouse and whatnot. But this time I checked it out, and yesterday was the last day to do it, to have it. Because if you do it before, on the 7th or before, all you have to do is buy it in Toys R Us, and Toys R Us will take all the toys and put them aside. So you don't have to take them anywhere. They do all that work for you. And so that was kind of a much easier way to do it. So we made sure. So this year we actually started at the beginning of November, and we went from November to November, 6th or whatever it was up until that point. And we did almost 5 times as much as we did last year in less time. We reached our goal. Our goal this year was $3,000. Last year I think we did about $750, and this year our goal was $3,000, and we blew past that in the 3rd week of November. We were already past that, so it was pretty good. It was very good, and I'm thankful for everybody who purchased products here and there to really make that happen, and we're really excited that we did that. And, probably something we're going to continue to do, not just Toys for Tots, but last year, we were doing a charity every month. And, I kind of fell away from that a little bit because it was kind of tedious to do and whatnot. And, I kind of fell away from it one month and then you forget about it. Oh, and it's Toys for Tots time. So probably about halfway through this year, I kind of, let the ball drop a little bit on doing that. But I think we're going to start doing that again and really getting some donations for different things out there. Because people like to be participating in those types of things. It's kind of fun and, it helps people out. So anyway, we don't want to take up too much of our podcast time just talking about that. But I did want to bring that up because it was not only a great story of all the wonderful things that you guys were able to donate for this, but it was just a funny little story that we had a lot of fun with. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. So with that, let's talk a little bit about some free resources. And if any of you are watching this live on Facebook, of course, please feel free to make some comments. We'll check in here and there, and we'll even comment back. Like I can see David O'Neill has already given us a little message there. So anybody else wants to do that, please feel free to do that. I'm on the radio. I'm probably not supposed to say people's last names. I'm probably supposed to say, David in Kansas City or Mike in Fresno, but sorry, David. Didn't mean to give out your full name there.
Well, it's not like we gave out his address and
yet. That's coming.
And it could be some other David O'Neill.
Yes, yes.
So
could be anybody with those names. Could be Tip O'Neill for all we know.
Tip O'Neill, yeah.
Anyway, so with that, let's talk a little bit about free resources. We all, it's that holiday season and we all love free gifts. Well, this is kind of the gifts that keep on giving. Now, some of these are not actually going to be free. Some of them are going to be good resources that are inexpensive, but some of them are going to be free ones. And of course, one of my personal favorite categories is stock images. And then we'll talk about stock video. Those are two of my favorite ones, but stock images. So how many times have you been working on a website and you needed a picture of, somebody that looks like they're frustrated or whatever it happens to be? Now, our first instinct, of course, is to search Google and just grab something and use it. But that's not a very smart idea. Unfortunately, you can get yourself into some good hot legal trouble for doing that. If you grab one of those Getty images, they'll send you a bill for a couple $1,000s. So you definitely want to be very, very careful of doing that. Now, that being said, there are some great free resources you can use, as well as some very inexpensive resources. Now, the first free resource I want to talk about is a website called Pexels, Pexels. And that is a great little site that has all sorts of free images. You can go in there, you can search. Now, are you going to find the exact image you need every time? No. Are you going to find the best images in the world all the time? Not necessarily. Sometimes you're going to find some really great gems. Sometimes you're going to, if you want free, you're going to have to compromise a little bit on exactly what you wanted. But it's a very good resource for this. You can go in, you can search for whatever it is that you need, and you'll be able to download it completely free and use it in your different projects. Now, you do want to check the licensing on there. Some of them could have more strict licensing, but for the most part, the licensing is pretty much the same. You can use it for commercial and non-commercial, but do check that out just in case there are any differences on certain images from certain people. But it's a very good resource for that. Again, that's Pexels, Pexels, and it's a great way to pick those things up. Now, another free resource for these is a site called Pixabay, Pixabay. And on Pixabay, same type of deal. You can search for images, grab the ones you need, and pretty much you can use all of those for commercial and non-commercial purposes. In fact, you may find that you see a lot of the same images in both places because they're public domain and whatnot. But it's another great resource for that. Now, the next one I want to talk about is a website. It's actually a foreign website called sxc.hu. Now, this one is I believe, a Hungarian website. I could be wrong. I think HU is Hungarian, but that could be wrong. And this is very similar. In fact, this is one that's been around for a lot longer than the other two. And again, you can find a lot of good images that you can use. A lot of their images are not the same high quality as ones you could buy on iStock and whatnot. But again, you're not paying $30 per image. So it's a very good resource when you're looking for something that is free. Now, on the slightly paid side for images. There are a lot of resources there as well. My personal favorite one is photodune.net. That's photo, D-U-N-E.net. And this is by the guys at Envato. They've got Video Hive and Code Canyon and all those other great websites. So they've got a lot of different resources for a lot of different things. And we'll talk about them a few more times today. But that's a great place to get images that are fairly inexpensive. Instead of paying 30, 40, 60, or in the case of Getty Images, $10 billion, you can actually get them for, $5, $3, $10, things like that. And it's a great little resource for doing that. They've got a lot of the stuff that you'll need and, for a very fair price. And it's one of my favorite places to go. I spend a lot of time and money there. My accountant can verify that as they go through all of the different charges that go on there every single month. Now, the other source that I want to talk about, there used to be a really, really good source. I loved this one. It was called Dollar Photo Club, but don't take note of that because they actually sold out. They actually sold themselves to Adobe, and now it's part of Adobe's stock image collections. Now, if you haven't joined that, you can check that out. The Adobe stock, and I forget the actual website. We'll have to put it in the show notes, but Adobe has their own stock photo collections that you can join. It's a monthly club, I believe. And they've got a lot of great images in there that you can use. Fortunately, with Dollar Photo Club, it was, $1 an image. Very easy. You paid like $10 a month. You got 10 downloads, and then you can buy any additional ones for $1. I loved it. Absolutely great service, but they closed it down after they sold to Adobe. In fact, I think they only closed down like about 2 months ago, but sad to see them go, but great resource there. Now, the other thing, there are a lot of people that put out collections that they either shoot themselves or that they go out and acquire, and sometimes they find things in public domain. So you have to keep your eyes open. And I email people about these all the time. Every time I see one, I pick them up. These, and they always seem to outdo each other. It's like, started off, it's like, hey, you can get 1,000 images for $10. And I was like, cool, okay. And I would buy them. And nowadays it seems like it's like 30,000 images for $15, so they're kind of all out doing each other, which is good. You get a lot of great stuff with that. In fact, today, a new stock video collection just came out just like that I mailed about this morning. But, those, unfortunately, I can't just send you a resource. You have to keep your eyes peeled for those because they just come around every once in a while and then they kind of shut them down and then they, put out new collections later and things like that. But it's just something you want to keep your eye out for. It's a great way to build up a huge collection. I literally have, just thousands and thousands of these images just packed away on my hard drive. In fact, a lot of them are not very well organized, and so they're just a ton of different places. Like, I got to look in 15 places to find the perfect image that I want. But someday I'll probably pay somebody to go through everything and catalog it. But that's a good thing out there. And believe it or not, I'm actually working on my own stock. I don't know if you know this, Steve, or not, but I'm actually working on my own stock photo, video, music collection. And so what I've been doing is I've been going around over the last year and purchasing rights to all sorts of media. Every time there's a photo collection that has where you can buy seller's right, I scoop them right up because I want to add them to the collection because it's a good thing to have. And at some point in time, hopefully soon, we're actually going to be releasing a new product. It's called InStock, InStock, and we will have music and images and virtual backgrounds and all that kind of fun stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well. A little shameless plug.
There you go.
All right. So let's get on to video. Oh, go ahead, Steve. What do you got to say there?
Swig of root beer. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we're now the Steve Austin podcast here. Swig of root beer for the working guy.
Yeah, well, and
Steve Austin impersonation.
For those of you, it was good. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, Ray held up a bottle of root beer.
That's right, Virgil's root beer. That's the
Virgil's.
one I'm today. I think every week I'm gonna share a different root beer. This week it's Virgil's. So there we go.
Were you the one that told me that root beer used to be alcoholic before?
Yeah, in fact, it still is. You can still buy alcoholed root beer.
I suppose, yeah.
So, all right, let's get on to video before I get down a new road. I'm like the new microbrew root beer king over here.
Yeah,
so
right.
The next thing we want to talk about is video. Now, video is another thing that can be difficult to get your hands on, but unfortunately, there are some free resources. And once again, we're going to hit some of the exact same websites. So Pexels and Pixabay both have video resources as well as images. Now, when you go to a place like Pexels, it's a little tough. You're only going to see images on there, but there's a video button. So you click on that and you'll see their stock video collections. And I believe the actual direct site is like videos.pexels.com to be able to get to that. And Pixabay, same thing. You go into there, you can click on videos, and they have a whole bunch of videos in there. Not as extensive as the images, but there's definitely a lot of great resources in there. They've got, broken down into categories like, scenery and buildings and cars and people and, all sorts of fun stuff. So there's a lot of great resources in there. You can download all of those just by heading on over there and checking it out. Again, check the rights. Make sure you've got the rights to actually use them. I've never seen one that's not fully usable for commercial and non-commercial, but definitely check that out. Make sure that you do have the rights to use it for what you want, and you should be doing well with that. Now, the next resource is an actual paid resource, but it is, again, a fairly inexpensive one. And again, it's by the guys at Envato. This is videohive.net. And videohive.net has all sorts of great stock video. So whatever you're looking for, just type it in. You'll be able to pull it up and grab the resources that you need. Now, I will say that, for a lot of the audience that listens to this, one thing you're going to have a tough time getting, and this is the case for almost any site you go to, is very specific things for like local businesses. So for instance, you're doing a video for a local air conditioning repair person, and you type in there, air conditioning maintenance or something like that, you're probably not going to find what you need. You have to kind of be a little bit loose with what you need there and just find a maintenance man playing with a screwdriver or things like that. You don't often find things that are very specific, except in bigger things, plumbing and whatnot. You'll probably find a few things, but it makes it very, very difficult to actually pick those things up there. Now, a side note, I'm actually working on that as well. Myself and our good friend Owen Video are actually working on a project where we're going to hire actors and we're going to shoot a whole bunch of video of AC repairmen, electricians, plumbers, all those things that are very difficult to get your hands on, but we know that we have an audience that really needs that kind of B-roll footage. So we're going to hire somebody, dress them up as a plumber, have them work on a sink, take a lot of different B-rolls. Same thing, HVAC and air conditioning and all that kind of fun stuff, maybe roofers and different things, and put together a nice collection of those types of stock footages, because that's the type of stuff that people really need that really isn't served very well. Now, you can go, of course, and we should mention this for any of this, you can, of course, go to some of the big sites like iStock. They will have footage of some of these things. You go in there and you search, plumber. They're going to have a lot of plumbing videos, people doing plumbing work and stuff like that. But, to me, that's always the last resource, because you're talking $30, $60, $80 for one clip of video. And that just seems excessive to me. Whereas with VideoHive, if you find what you want, you're probably going to spend somewhere between $9 and $15. So it's right. not a crazy price. It's a lot better than some of the alternatives. So start with Pexels and Pixabay. Head on over to VideoHive as your next level, and then of course, if you can't find what you want, head over to iStock or one of those types of sites to pick up a few things, and you should do pretty well with that. So I love that.
Great.
That's good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about music. Music. Now I can barely say that. I've still got that whole sinus stuffed up thing here, so it's a little tough for me to say music. But
music.
Anyway, we all need music for our videos. Absolutely no doubt about it, because YouTube will shut you down very quickly if you use music that you're not supposed to. So just because you love Justin Bieber does not mean you should put his latest song as the backing of your plumbing client. I'm sure they would appreciate that too. So what do you need to do to get some music? Well, there's a few different options. One of them is actually a very good little option, very easy. YouTube actually has its own set of stock music that you can use in your videos. Nice and simple. All you have to do is go into your YouTube account, go into the back end, and there's an area that has media in it. That's where you'll find the YouTube video editor. You'll also find a whole bunch of music that you can download. So you just go in there, pick the song that you want, and boom, now you've got one that's perfectly safe, and it costs you nothing, absolutely nothing. So very good resource for that. Now your next resource, well, aside from, we talked a little bit about how I often put out, hey, this guy's got a collection of images. People put out collections of music all the time. Very good musicians, and you can get them very cheap when they do. So again, you want to keep your eyes peeled for those types of things as they come out, because I always email those out whenever we get them, because they are so useful to everybody. But the other place that you can go, once again, we're going to go back to Envato, but this time we're going to go to Audio Jungle. There we go. I'm like, wait a minute. Hive, Dune, Jungle, yes. AudioJungle.net. And these Envato ones are all .nets. So this is AudioJungle.net. And on there, you will find everything you could possibly imagine on there that you could use. I mean, just an amazing array of songs from a variety of artists. And that's the beauty of Envato. It's not, with many music collections, it's one guy who makes a whole bunch of music and collects it and sells it off. On Envato, you're talking about artists from all over the world creating songs and uploading them to there. So you get a huge variety. I use a lot of their stuff. In fact, if you watch any of my live videos, aside from this one where we play the theme song here, any of my live videos, I always start them with playing a song by an artist named Tim McMorris. And I use his stuff in a lot of videos and a lot of live things and whatnot. And that all comes from Audio Jungle. He's a very good artist there. And so check that out. Check out Audio Jungle. Look up Tim McMorris. You're going to be very impressed by his music. There's a lot of other great music on there. And it's just a huge variety. Now, there are other resources out there, Music Bakery and things like that. But I would stick with Audio Jungle. Very easy to use, very quick. So music we have down. So now we've got video, we've got images, we've got music. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is video editing. Now, video editing, of course, this is still a free resource. We're not talking about media with this, but we got to take that media, we got to put it all together. And so how do we get a free video editing program? Well, of course, at the top of the show, I told you about one of them, which is our freevideoeditor.co. This is where you will get our free video editor that does all sorts of high-end editing, from green screen to three-point editing and effects and 3D text and all that kind of fun stuff. It's a great little program for anybody that's looking to get into video editing with all those other resources. In fact, we had the actual creator, the actual coder, on one of the episodes of this show back a few months ago. So
Dan Dennedy.
Yep, Dan Dennedy, about 6 or 8 months ago. So check that out if you want to learn more about that. It's a little technical, way over my head. The whole podcast was way over my head, but it was very interesting to hear about the actual program and kind of the insides of that. But that's one free resource. Another one is the YouTube video editor. Now, just like where we told you to find the music on YouTube, you've got a free video editor built into YouTube. It's not a high-end editor. You're not going to do super fancy stuff with that, but you can do some very neat things. You can piece clips together and do all that kind of fun stuff right inside the YouTube editor. And it does a pretty good job for absolutely nothing. So another free one. So we like free. Now, as far as paid video editors go, there are some good options for this too. First and foremost is if you've got, your iPhone or you've got your iPad, you can actually use iMovie. It's only $5 to pick that up, and you can do all sorts of great video editing. Now, if you're thinking, well, what kind of editing are you going to do on a phone or on an iPad? Well, back about, a year and a half ago, there was a car company, and I forget which one it was. It might have been Bentley, or it was one of the high-end car companies. They actually shot a TV commercial completely on iPhones and
Very nice.
edited. I always love saying that word. Edited the video, the commercial, right there in the back of the car using their iPad and iMovie. So it's a very, very powerful tool. So don't be, just because everybody has a phone and everybody has an iPad. Don't think that they're not very powerful tools for doing this. It's iMovie is a very powerful little piece of software, and they've got some others in there as well. On the Android side, there's a couple of them as well. You'll have to look them up. I don't really know much about Android, but I know there are some video editors in there. And the other one is, this is a great resource that everyone should pay attention to, WeVideo, WeVideo. Now, this is an online video editor. So you go there, you upload your videos that you want to edit, and you do the editing right in your browser, and you create your video. I believe they have a version that you start off with that's free, and then they charge a very small price to use it for bigger projects. But it's a very affordable way to get started with video. It does all the things that you need. In fact, I used to recommend it a lot before we had Shotcut, because you can do things like overlaying graphics and things like that, which a lot of my clients needed at the time. So it's another great resource, WeVideo. Now, the next one that we can talk about is a little, now we're getting into the pricier section of things. Adobe, if you've got the Adobe Creative Cloud, you've got Premiere inside there. If you don't have the Creative Cloud, you can get it for a monthly fee of like $25 a month or $29 a month, whatever it is. And you get Photoshop, you get After Effects, you get Premiere, you get all these different softwares. And they do a really good job of taking care of the video editing for you. So that's another option out there. And the final one we'll talk about is Final Cut Pro, Mac only. This is kind of the granddaddy. Actually, this won't be the final. I've got a couple other softwares I want to talk about in a different category. But Final Cut Pro, not very expensive these days. It used to be about $1,200, and now, with it being totally digital download now, the no boxes and paper books and all that kind of stuff, I believe it runs now for like $299. So you can pick that up. That's kind of the king of all the video editing softwares these days. But it is Mac only, so if you're on a PC, you're out of luck there. You'll have to do with Premiere, which is also a very good video editor. Now, the other two that I want to mention, they're not necessarily meant to be video editors, but that's exactly what they have become and what they are. And that's Camtasia and ScreenFlow. Now, those two softwares are meant to capture your screen. They're meant to do screen capture videos and whatnot, but they are basically full-blown video editors. So you can really do some very cool stuff just by picking one of those two softwares up. ScreenFlow is Mac only. Camtasia is Mac or PC. So you can get that for either of the platforms. But just good little resources that you can use. And that's pretty much it. I think we've covered a lot today. I'm going to hit Facebook here just to see, and it looks like we've got some people talking. Here's David actually posted a website called Unsplash.com, which has free high-resolution photos. So I'll have to check that out. I actually am not familiar with that one. And he also recommends Screenomatic, which is a free version for capturing and editing video. And I have used that. It does do video editing for you, so it's actually a pretty good resource to have as well. So you may want to check that out, Screenomatic. And so there you go. So those are our fun little free tips, as well as slightly higher than free products that you can use to create your videos, to create your websites, to put on your websites, and all that other fun stuff that you guys do. And so with that, I just want to say, if you know of any other resources, do like David and post them below these videos, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook. Let us know some of the resources that you've found that maybe we didn't mention here, because I'm sure there are plenty of others. Those are the ones that I tend to use quite often. And so I just wanted to share them with everybody so they know where to start looking.
Cool.
Yes.
Now, you don't have to hit the bumper, because that always seems to cause a problem. I was going to say before the show, let's do Mindset Matters, but let's dump the bumper, because it always causes. Did you know last week the show shut off when you hit it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did, because I said it at the time. I said, "Oh, there was a little glitch there," but
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
we don't need the bumper. It's not
That's
that
all
big
right. We can skip the bumper. We'll just pretend.
Mindset
Matters. All right, so there we go. So with this week's Mindset Matters, I want to talk about an app that I think we've talked about this before, but we had some issues, so I want to bring it up again. The app is called 5 Minute. Hold on, let me pull it up here. I'm going to show it to you. And I use this one pretty much every day here. I'm going to show you it right in front of you here. So
for those of you watching live on Facebook.
Journal. There it is. So 5 Minute Journal. Now this is a free app you can get, and it allows you to do journaling every single day. And you start off the day giving 3 things you're thankful for, 3 things you want to accomplish that day that would make your day great, and then you put in one statement of, kind of an overall statement for the day. And so you go in there, you say, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for this. Today would be great if this happened, if this happened, and if I was able to do this. And today I am going to make 10 phone calls to local businesses and close one of them. And so it just gives you a great way to start your day. They even start you with a nice quote that you can read from famous authors and whatnot, and you can actually post and share that, which I like to do quite often. And then at the end of the day, it does the exact same thing again. What were you grateful for today? And what 3 great accomplishments did you have today? And then one closing thought for the evening. So it really is a great way to start your day, to end your day, being thankful. It'll make you a happier person, and we'll even give you some direction for the day so you kind of know what you need to accomplish. So that's 5-Minute Journal. You can actually go to 5minutejournal.com. You can actually order an actual physical book that you can write in, or you can download the app on the App Store. So there you go, 5-Minute Journal.
Groovy.
Indeed.
And it's the radio show about video. Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Show podcast network. Ray's holding up his root beer. Who's it? Virgil's root beer?
Virgil's root beer.
All right. And today's show made possible by,
once again, freevideoeditor.co. Looking for a way to create videos but don't want to spend a fortune? Well, check out freevideoeditor.co, where you can download our free video editing software, as well as some other goodies to make your videos truly stand out and look professional. That's freevideoeditor.co.
And let's wrap it up with Neil Young doing the jingle.
That's right. It's Neil Young, in case you don't know. You should be able to hear that. So with that, so long, folks, and have a great week.
Bye.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.